The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is life without a purpose. It is waking up every morning without a sense of direction. Living each day driven by routine but empty of meaning. There are so many people, brilliant people, talented people, gifted people, who are merely existing instead of living. They go to work, they clock in and clock out, they pay their bills, they raise their children, but deep inside they're unfulfilled because they have never discovered why they were born. Purpose is the original intent for your existence. It is the reason why God breathed life into your body and allowed you to walk on this earth at this particular time in history. You are not here by accident. You are not a mistake. You are a solution waiting to be revealed. A vision waiting to be birthed. A dream clothed in flesh. But when you do not know your purpose, you become vulnerable to the pressures of life. You are tossed around by circumstances, influenced by other people's opinions, and often enslaved to a system that does not recognize your true value. I remember when I was a young man struggling with questions about my future. I would walk along the shores of Nassau, the waves crashing against the rocks, and I would shout into the wind, "Why am I here?" It was a desperate question, but it was the right question, because until you ask that question and pursue the answer with all your heart, you are at risk of spending your life climbing a ladder only to realize at the end it was leaning against the wrong wall. Without purpose, abuse is inevitable. When you don't know why a thing exists, you will misuse it. If you don't know the purpose of your time, you will waste it. If you don't know the purpose of your strength, you will exhaust it on things that do not matter. If you don't know the purpose of your gift, you will trade it for approval, applause, or money. Many people think their job is their purpose, but your job is what you are paid for. Your purpose is what you were made for. Purpose gives you discipline. It gives you focus. It gives you resilience. When you know your why, you can endure almost any how. When you are aware of your calling, you stop being distracted by every new trend, every opinion, every opportunity that is not assigned to you. You become laser focused. You become dangerous to mediocrity. So today I urge you, avoid the mistake of living accidentally. Refuse to drift through life hoping to stumble upon fulfillment. It doesn't work that way. Purpose must be discovered, pursued, protected. It must be refined in the fires of patience and tested in the storms of life. You must seek the Creator to understand the creation. No invention can know its purpose without consulting its inventor. And in the same way, you cannot know why you are here if you do not ask the one who sent you. You are not just here to take up space. You are here to make history. You are here to build, to plant, to heal, to inspire, to pioneer, to transform. Your very existence is evidence that there is something God wanted done that required your presence. Purpose is not a luxury reserved for a few special people. It is the birthright of every human being. But it must be discovered. So seek it. Pursue it with urgency. Let the question burn within you. Why was I born? Because when you find your purpose, you find your life. And when you live out your purpose, you give permission to others to rise into theirs. Imagine a marathon where every runner keeps looking over their shoulder, glancing at the person to the left and the right, worried about who's ahead and who's behind. Picture the chaos, the tripping, the wasted energy, the confusion. That is exactly how many of us live our lives. We are running a race, but our eyes are not fixed on the finish line. Instead, we are trapped in the exhausting cycle of comparison. Comparison is a silent killer. It creeps into our minds subtly, quietly, until one day we wake up and realize we have been living someone else's dream, pursuing someone else's vision, wearing someone else's shoes that do not even fit. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own unique journey. You dishonor your own gift. You neglect your own field. You stop watering your own garden because you are too busy admiring someone else's harvest, forgetting that you don't know the depth of the seed they planted, the storms they survived, or the sacrifices they made in the dark when no one was watching. I remember a season early in my life when I made the mistake of looking at others, at their accomplishments, their platforms, their recognition, and wondering if I was moving too slowly, if I was being left behind. I felt the pressure to run faster, to speak louder, to produce more, not because it was my time, but because I saw others doing it. And in that dangerous moment, I almost abandoned the path that God had carved out just for me. I learned that comparison is a distraction that derails destiny. It shifts your focus from your assignment to your insecurities. You see, you were never designed to compete with anyone else. You are not in a race against your brother or your sister. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. The race is personal. Your track is personal. Your timing is personal. God measures success not by how quickly you reach the finish line, but by how faithfully you run the course He assigned to you. The eagle never competes with the lion. The whale never competes with the cheetah. Each one reigns supreme in its own domain because it understands its design. When you understand your design, you understand your domain. And when you understand your domain, you stop comparing and you start conquering. Comparison blinds you to the value of your own gifts. It convinces you that your contribution is not enough, that your voice is not loud enough, that your dream is not big enough. It leads you to abandon your authenticity in exchange for imitation. And the tragedy is that while you're busy trying to be someone else, the world loses the very thing you were created to offer. You become a cheap copy instead of an irreplaceable original. Every time you measure yourself against someone else, you insult the wisdom of God who made you different by design. You were handcrafted with intentionality. Your fingerprint, your voice print, your soul print, there is none like you in the earth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not lacking. You are positioned exactly where you need to be to fulfill. Run your race. Stay in your lane. Focus forward. Celebrate others without diminishing yourself. There is room for everyone at the top when you understand that your top is not someone else's peak. Your destiny has no competition because it was tailor-made for you. Comparison is the enemy of destiny. It is a counterfeit assignment that leads to real destruction. Guard your heart. Guard your focus. Know that the fastest way to delay your journey is to keep looking sideways. Lift your eyes. Fix your gaze. Set your face like flint toward your calling. Because your greatest victories are waiting at the finish line, designed just for you. Nigga Willie. In the garden of destiny, there are no shortcuts. Every great thing you will ever build, every dream worth pursuing, every assignment worth completing will demand your patience, your perseverance, and your process. Yet we live in a generation obsessed with speed. We want overnight success, instant breakthroughs, microwave miracles. But true greatness is never microwaved. It is slow cooked, forged in the fires of time, pressure, and persistence. There's danger in looking for shortcuts. Shortcuts offer the illusion of progress without the strength of process. They promise you the reward without the sacrifice, the crown without the cross, the prize without the preparation. But shortcuts always cost more in the end than the path of endurance. They rob you of the very character, resilience, and wisdom you will need to sustain the destiny you are rushing toward. I remember seasons in my life when I was tempted to take the easy way. Opportunities came dressed in promises of quick results. Compromises that would have fast-tracked my visibility, but at the expense of my authenticity. Each time I heard a whisper deep in my spirit, trust the process. I am doing more in you than for you. It was in those moments that I realized success is not just about arriving. It is about becoming. God is not simply trying to get you to your destination. He is preparing you to be able to stay there once you arrive. Look around at creation itself, and you will see the law of process at work. No oak tree springs up overnight. No diamond forms without heat and pressure. No masterpiece is painted in one careless stroke. Even the Savior of the world spent 30 years in preparation for 3 years of public ministry. Why would we believe that our destiny would require less? The process is not punishment. It is the proving ground where your faith is refined, your motives are purified, your gifts are sharpened, and your endurance is forged. The process exposes what shortcuts hide. It strengthens what comfort weakens. It builds what easy roads erode. You see, when you trust the process, you allow your roots to grow deep so that when the storms of life come, and they will come, you are not easily uprooted. Shortcuts may get you there quickly, but they cannot keep you there securely. Talents might open a door, but only character will keep it open. A shortcut might win you applause today, but only integrity will sustain your influence tomorrow. When you rush ahead of your process, you arrive underdeveloped, overexposed, and vulnerable to collapse. But when you submit to the process, you arrive seasoned, stable, and secure. I have learned that destiny cannot be microwaved. You cannot skip steps in your growth. You cannot bypass seasons of obscurity, of struggle, of silent preparation. Those hidden seasons are not wasted. They are sacred. They are the womb of greatness. They are where giants are formed, where history makers are carved, where kings and queens are anointed long before they are appointed. The danger of shortcuts is that they teach you to value speed over depth, surface over substance, applause over authenticity. And before you know it, you are building monuments that look impressive, but collapse under the weight of real storms. Destiny is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It is a lifelong unfolding of who you were always meant to become. So when the road is long, when the nights are dark, when the wait is painful, remember this: trust the process. Trust that what feels like delay is actually divine design. Trust that your preparation is positioning you. Trust that every unseen sacrifice, every hidden act of obedience, every lonely step of faith is adding up to a future greater than you can imagine. The process is your training ground. The wilderness is your university. The waiting room is where your wings are strengthened. And when the time is right, when you are ready, not just outwardly, but inwardly, you will step into your destiny, not as a stranger who stumbled into it, but as a son or daughter who is shaped for it.